话筒连接成功。
Welcome back. Now let's resume our class. What's the difference between PGE, Permanent Group of Experts, and panels? Well, panels are called dispute settlement panel, right? So, what's this about? It is a non-political body provided for under the ICM agreement, which assists a DSB panel in determining whether a subsidy is a prohibited subsidy. What is a prohibited subsidy? There are two kinds of prohibited subsidy. The concept of prohibited subsidies includes, first one, export subsidies. The second one is import substitution subsidies. Import substitution subsidies. These two subsidies are prohibited. We will elaborate them later in the subsequent chapters. Okay, now let's move on. The WTO Secretariat. WTO Secretariat. I've got two questions for you on this page. I've got two questions for you. First is, what are the roles, or what is the role of the WTO Director General and Secretariat? What is the role of the General Director, Director General, Director General, or Secretariat? This is a body, an agency, not a secretary, not a person, okay? Then what is the role of these two bodies? Look at it here. They act primarily as an honest broker or a facilitator of the decision-making processes within the WTO. They are not the decider. They are just a facilitator or honest broker. Broker means mediator. Yes. What's their role? What's their role? Here. Can you see the word here? Role. They should assume a neutral or impartial and objective role. They do not have huge, or we say big powers. They don't. They just play a neutral or impartial and objective role. Okay. They shall not express views explicitly or otherwise on the specific issues being discussed in the ministerial conference. Okay. That's enough about the Director General and the Secretariat. We'll move on to the next page. Oh, there are more. 2 pages. Then, another question. What is the character of the responsibilities? What is the character of the responsibilities of the Director General and of the staff of the Secretariat? What's the character? I mean the nature. What's the nature of the responsibilities of these two? The word in red is the answer. Okay. Exclusively international in character. What does that mean? International. What does international mean? The answer is just lying. Okay. The ghost still living here. Look at it here. In the discharge of their duties, shall not seek or accept instructions from any government or any other authority external to the WTO. That is the meaning of exclusive international. Okay? That they shall never accept instructions. For example, the China's government instruct this person and the staff. For example, there is a Chinese personnel. There's a Chinese personnel who is working in the Secretariat, and the Chinese government instruct the staff to work for China's government. Is that possible? No, it's not possible. Good. Okay, we'll move on to next section about decision making in the WTO. This is rather important. Why? Well, because this whole chapter is about institutional rules. Institutional rules always relate to who decide what matters. Who decide the matters? Who dominate? Who dominate the organization? Okay, here. Decision making in theory. Look at this part and read this paragraph. I've got a question for you. Always pay more attention to the words in red, okay? Because I've already highlighted them for you. First question is, how's the WTO decision-making process like? How do people regard WTO's decision-making process? It's criticized as undemocratic, non-transparent, and accountable to no one. Right? This is the comment from the public. Well, question number two. Question number two is, how many methods of decision making in WTO in theory? How many methods? How many methods of decision making in WTO? First one is two, right? First one is decision making by consensus. Next one is matters be decided by voting. What does consensus mean? Two. Yes, everybody agrees to something. It's consensus. Which method of decision making is easier to be achieved? The first one or the second one? The second one, right? Good. And by voting, in terms of voting, we've got several different methods. For example, a simple majority. What does that mean? Simple majority. Yes, that means 50%, over 50% of the votes. Then the decision will be made, right? Good. And we have a 2/3 majority. And we still got what? How to read this? You can always read it as 3/4, but we've got another way of saying this. How to say? What's this? A quarter. A quarter, okay? Yeah, exactly. So this is a 3/4 majority. 3/4 majority. And the next question, what's the standard procedure like? Standard procedure. Here. In WTO decision making, we've got first a standard procedure. The basic principle is what? Consensus. The principle is by consensus. If consensus cannot be achieved, then we go to voting. Then we go to voting. A simple majority. A simple majority of the votes cast. That is the standard method, standard way. Okay? Then, which is more important? What is more important is the special procedure. Okay. Special procedure. There are about 2 pages about the decision making. 3 important factors you need to know. And it's important because in institutional rules, that's what we need to know. First factor is the article or provisions. You need to know. Second one is about the item. I mean the matters. Third one is this. Simple majority or 2/3 or 3/4 majority. Factor number 1. Factor number 2. Factor number 3. Actually, I've formulated a table for you. After class, I will send the table to you for your memory. Okay, for your recite. But look at the first factor. Where are these matters provided? Where are these matters provided? All these articles. Give you an example. Article 9.2. Article 9.3. Oh, sorry, this is 10. Article 10.2. Article 10.3. Article 10.4. Which article? Where are these articles in? In the document I sent to you last night in the WeChat group. What's that document? Exactly, spot on. The WTO agreement. A quiz for you to avoid you falling asleep. How many articles are there in the WTO agreement? 微笑。
I don't know.
Take a guess. Wild guess. A wild guess.
问题可以重复一遍。
How many articles in total are there in the WTO agreement?
5.
5. A little bit fewer. Okay. You have only one chance. What about you, Lan Yufeng?
7.
Take a wild guess. You have only one chance. Your choice.
2000.
2000? That's too wild. Yes, I sent to you in the WeChat group. Only 16, right? How to write the word, how to write the number in Rome. This is 16, right? 16 articles, only 16. Too many? No. Too few? No. Moderate. You can always have a browse of it and see what's it about. The WTO agreement. We talked about it a lot, right? 16. Okay. Now I'll give you an example. A very, very important example. Is about this one. Not this one. This one. First, the matter is about authoritative interpretations of provisions of WTO and multilateral agreements of Annex 1, 2, 3. This article about this matter, this article provides that, look, Ministerial Conference and General Council have the exclusive authority to adopt such interpretations. And that decision to adopt an authoritative interpretation shall be taken by a 3/4 majority of the members. This is just an example. We've got 3 factors, right? First, which article, then about what matters, then it's a 3/4 majority of members. Okay. I think I need to give you another example about this decision making. It's about what? It's about this one, Article 10, about amendments to the WTO agreement. Okay, look at it here. This paragraph. It's rather important. Article 10. Why didn't I write it like this? Article 10. Why would I write it like this? Because I write it as it is, right? It's like this. In the original document, that's why I write it like this. I would never change it into this one. So this is the correct way, okay? Article 10. Never change it to the Arab numbers. Look again. Article 10 of the WTO agreement provides that if amendments to the WTO agreement and annexes 1, 2, 3 cannot be adopted by consensus, they need a 2/3 majority vote, which means the principle is by consensus, everybody agrees. If this cannot be done, we turn to a 2/3 majority vote, right? But there's one more important thing is this. When did the amendment take effect? Enter into force. An amendment shall take effect for the members that have accepted amendment upon acceptance by 2/3 of the members, which means the amendment has already been adopted. By how many votes will this amendment be adopted? 2/3 of the votes, right? 2/3 of the members. Once it is adopted, will it become enforceable directly? What about the knowledge you learned in public international law? For an international agreement to be enforceable, the signing party will have to go back to his own country for ratification of the authority, for example, National People's Congress, right? Yeah. Although this amendment is adopted, it will not become enforceable automatically. It will have to be ratified or accepted. By how many votes? How many members? Also 2/3 of the members, right? Also 2/3. So there are two steps. First one is adopted by 2/3. Then, for it to be accepted, there must be 2/3 of the member who accepted the amendment. What about those who did not accept the amendment? Is the amendment enforceable for those who did not accept the amendment? I mean the remaining 1/3. Take effect only for the members that have accepted the amendment. Okay, good. Look at the last sentence. In principle, the amendment is effective only in respect of those members that have accepted it. Okay, that's just a sample, an example. Later, I will send you a table, give you a summary of all these contents, a table, very, very clear, okay? Then we will move on. Go to the subsection B, WTO decision making in practice. That, what I just mentioned is just in theory, in principle. This is in practice. You need to read these two sentences. I will invite someone to read this first. 翟旭东, would you please read the words in red for us out loud, okay?
The consensus principle, which is at the heart of the WTO system and which is the fundamental democrat, democrat, uh, guarantee is not negotiable. There is definitely a larger sense of le- 看不清
Okay, please stand up. You may approach. You may approach.
legitimate legitimacy for decisions adopted by consensus.
Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Thank you for your bold try. Okay, then now I'll have to correct some of your pronunciations. Never mind. You can only learn it well word by word. Okay, first thing is consensus. Consensus, principle, which is at the heart, or the core of the WTO system, which is a fundamental democratic. The down form of democratic is democracy. Okay, guarantee. A democratic guarantee is not negotiable. Negotiate is the verb form. This is the adjective, negotiable. Definitely, exactly, definitely. You are definitely right. Definitely. It's for a tone, right? Okay. A larger sense of legitimacy. This is legitimacy. And its adjective form is legitimate. For decisions adopted by consensus. Okay? Okay, let's move on to next page. Participation in WTO decision making. This paragraph is rather important, which is for your recite. If you want to learn English well, or if you want to learn WTO law well, recite is inevitable. It's always a must, okay? This paragraph for your recite. It will definitely appear on the paper of the final paper. Okay, question. Why do we need green room meetings? Why do we need green room meetings? Why? Find the answer here in this part. Why do we need green room meetings? Why? Because it's obviously neither possible nor practical to involve directly all 166 members to negotiate something and make a decision. We bring all the members here to make a decision. Is it possible? Is it practical? No. And that's why we need these green room meetings. What does green room meetings mean? How does green room meetings work? The answer always lies here. How? Let's pick someone else to read this paragraph for us. Wang Ziwei. The whole paragraph, out loud.
It is obviously neither possible nor practical to involve directly all 166 members in negotiations aimed at reaching agreement on controversial issues. Green room meetings bring together the major powers in the WTO, which obviously include the European Union, the United States, China, Brazil, and India, and a select number of the other members. In recent years, this agreement green room meetings have become more open and inclusive, with rising active participation of developing country members. In green room meetings, a preliminary agreement will be reached. Then such a preliminary agreement is presented to the rest of the WTO membership for adoption.
Thank you. Sit. Several words. First of them, this preliminary. Preliminary. And this one, it's a country, developing country in South America, South American continent, Brazil, India. Yes, India. And another one is this one again. How to read this word? Presentation. What's that? This is a little bit complicated. Yes, most of students cannot distinguish between them. First, it's a noun, means a gift, present, presents, okay? This is the first one. Second is a verb. I present to you something. I present to you something. I present this. And now I'm presenting this class to you. I'm presenting this class to you. I am now doing a presentation. I am now doing a presentation to show you something, presentation. This is a verb, present. The noun form is presentation, okay? Then we still have its noun form about presence. Presentation. Also noun form, presentation is for present. But this presence means adjective verb, adjective. I'm present here. I am present here. My presence here. How do you like my presence here? Do you like my presence here? If not, then I will leave. Yes, my presence here. Present. I'm present here. My presence here. Only when it's a verb, it's read present. Otherwise, it's all presence. Okay? Yes, it's difficult, right? That's why English is so annoying. Annoying. Okay. This paragraph is very important. My second question would be, how does this green room meetings work? Three steps. First step is, green room meetings bring together the major powers in the WTO. Bring together the major powers, including China, EU, United States, India, and Brazil. This is the step one. Step two is, in green room meetings, a preliminary agreement will be reached. Preliminary agreement will be reached. Step 3 is what? Such a preliminary agreement is presented. Look at my gesture. Presented to the rest of the WTO membership, right? Okay. 3 steps. Just like how to put an elephant into a refrigerator. 3 steps, okay? First, open the door to the refrigerator. Second, put the elephant into the refrigerator. Third step is to close the door to the refrigerator. Similarly, there are 3 steps about how green room meetings work. Okay? Good. And the last important point I'd like to highlight is the WTO is not a part of the UN family. It is a fully independent international organization. It's not a part, not a branch of the United Nations. It's an independent organization. Fully independent international organization. That's everything I would like to talk about. Chapter 3, the WTO institution, the WTO organization. Okay. Thus far, how much have you learned? Give me a percentage. For today's class, give me a percentage. You're completely lost, I'm afraid. How much?
50.
50? I think maybe it's a little lower. I think for you, maybe 70 or 80% is okay. Okay. Look at the clock. I don't think we have other time. As time is running short, we have to call it a day, I'm afraid. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Any questions?
3个港口。
In English, grasp this opportunity. In Chinese,
就最近有卖港口的那个事情。对，加强卖港口。
about Li Jiacheng sell the courts in Panama, right? In Panama. What's your question about? My comments? Are you a journalist?
What will these things to influence the sales of the goods?
What will this matter or this event will influence China or China-US relations? And what's the consequences of that, right? What's the consequences of that? I think this is a personal matter because he is a businessman, right? And of course, it will affect the future geopolitical tension in this world. Geopolitical, yeah. Geopolitical situation. Once there is a conflict between China and the United States, the China's cargoes or commodities will not be easily shipped or transferred. You know, we have to detour around the South, the African or the South, no, the American, yes, the South American continent, right? That would be an increase of logistics fees, right? And especially in time of war, the military weapons cannot be shipped easily, right? But actually, Li Jiacheng is not just a Chinese, he is also a Canadian. He holds 2 nationalities, right? Although he is also a Hong Kong citizen. But it pays off. I mean, this deal, this trade, it pays off. Why? Because it's worth a lot of dollars, even equivalent to the whole value of the company. You got it? So if you are a businessman, would you do that? Li Jiacheng tried to sell this port to Chinese state-owned companies, but maybe it's too expensive. He got refused. That's everything I know. I have no comment. And my saying does not stand for my political position. I'm sorry. Okay. Today's class is over. I'll see you next week. Goodbye for now.